Thank you for listening to this PodcastOne production. Now available on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, once again, welcome. Steve Austin Show, bootleg in Atlanta with Scott Hall. We're going to try this 3 times. Scott, how you doing? You look like you're $1 million.
Thanks.
Last time I saw you, Resurrection of Jake Roberts, you weren't in a good place, but you look 100% right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We started off talking, and the camera crew was having a hard time with your mic. You told a couple of stories that were pure gems. What I was going to attempt to do today was kind of trace over some of your steps. I've got some notes here, but you busted out with 2 great stories, so there's no better way to start a podcast with a couple of stories. One was down there in, was it NWA? It was a Tully Blanchard story.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was telling you it's right. about getting over.
Right.
So launch mid-story, start over. What were we talking about?
Well, I haven't had a match. Dusty started me in Florida, but I never had a match. So now I moved to Charlotte.
But you're trained by Hiro Matsuda?
Yeah.
So how was that training then?
Well, Hiro was so old school. He had like a sewing shop where he had ladies who made gear.
Yeah.
But shooter gear for amateur schools
right.
and stuff like that. And he had like a little place in the beginning where it was we just worked out. There was no ring.
What y'all do? Just Hindu squats?
Hindus and push-ups. The thing I'll say about Hiro is he's not one of those guys who sits in the chair and tells you to do 500 squats. He does them, then you do them.
Right.
And I had heard about Hiro before I got there, so I went there in shape.
Right.
I was doing them on my own at home.
Right.
Now he still blew me up, but I got where I backed off on the weightlifting at that time because that high rep squat will blow you up. And
right.
I was huge back then.
What were you already, 280, 290?
Yeah, like 290, squatting 600 for reps.
Jesus Christ.
It was a different era.
Yeah.
I remember too, like sometimes, like he would go, oh, lower, not too low. And I got to the point where I got comfortable with him. Like he was doing them, I'd be looking at him like, hey, buddy.
Yeah, come on.
But
what did he teach you then? I mean, you're doing Hindus,
the business was different then. It was like, well, let's run this guy off. Nobody was welcomed in. So, he was going to run me off. And I ran into Barry Windham in a grocery store, and I was trying to be real respectful. I bought tickets to see him wrestle that week.
Right.
And I went, hey, how you doing? And he looked at me, hey, man. And we're both.
His eyes kind of go like.
Well, we're both looking at steaks. He goes, hey, man, what's up? I said, why are you Barry Windham? I'm a big fan. He goes, yeah. He goes, what do you do, man? Because at that time there was the Tampa Bay Bandits, there was the Buccaneers,
right.
there was wrestlers, there was a lot of big guys in Tampa. And he goes, I said, no, actually, I'm trying to get into your business. He went, oh. Now, I had no idea that Hiro was even connected with the office. They probably already knew. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And he goes, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm working out with Hiro Matsuda. He said, screw Hiro Matsuda.
Typical Barry Windham.
He said, you'll just be doing Hindu squats around the building. He said, do you know where the sportatorium is? I'm thinking, yes, sir. And he goes, meet me there tomorrow at noon. And I'm thinking, this is Barry Windham. Big star.
Damn right.
And he's going to, it's Wednesday, he's going to drive to Miami that night. He wants to meet me at noon, then he's going to drive to Miami. Okay. But I get there at 11, just in case. In comes Barry with Mike Rotundo, and the first bump I ever took was in that ring. I laid down, Steve, and they picked me up around the shoulders and the knees, lifted me up and dropped it, like to feel it like that. I bumped Barry while Mike watched. I bumped Mike while Barry watched. I didn't get bumped at all. And it was unbelievable these guys took the time to do that for me. That was my first time ever in a wrestling ring. Then things were changing. Dusty took the book in Charlotte, and boom, now it's like, hey, kid, need you in Charlotte. I haven't even had a match yet.
You hadn't?
No.
So did Barry, because of his alliance and relationship with Dusty, say, hey, there's this big, good-looking guy. We think he can do something. I mean, because how did Dusty get the word on the street? He didn't know you.
I don't know. For me, it goes like you go from being on the outside.
Yeah.
Like you go from buying tickets and stuff. All of a sudden you're on the inside. Nothing really changed, but now they're giving me free tickets to come to the shows.
Gotcha.
And now I get to come in the locker room. So I get to hang around. I'm going, holy cow. I'm marked out. It's huge.
Right.
And then it turns out I live right down the street from Barry. So he goes, hey, and YouTube wasn't around back then. There was no network. There was no way to study stuff. So Rotundo said to me, you got cable TV? I said, yeah. He goes, well, watch as much wrestling as you can. There was no NXT. The way you learned then was watching.
Right.
You go to the building, you get there early, and maybe hope some guy would show you a thing or two.
Right.
Because a lot of guys, in that era, nobody bumped for free. No way, especially with some big career ender.
Yeah.
So I remember riding in the back of the car, and I was the beer tender. with Mike and Barry, and just sitting back, just listening, just learning.
Dude, that was awesome.
Unbelievable.
So then how did you end up?
Okay, so now I finally have a match or two, and this is when the business, to me, was really changing. It was becoming more about TV and more about marketing, and you had to have the look. A lot of little kids are the audience now. They're going, well, I think that big muscle guy could beat that fat guy. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what a good performer you are.
Right.
It's the matchmaker's job to put the performer with the guy who might be able to sell merch.
Right.
It was changing then. So I was too big to do jobs and too green to go over.
Right.
So I never got to work. I was in Charlotte.
Dude, that is an interesting predicament.
Well, luckily, Jim Crockett owned the Charlotte Orioles, so I worked on the grounds crew there.
That's what I heard.
And it was sweet, and it only rained twice a year, so pulled the tarp out twice. It was good times. It was really good times.
So then Dusty sent you guys to Charlotte and Crockett territory.
Well, I tag along with Dusty. He's taken the book there. Dory Funk left Charlotte and went to Florida to book, and Dusty came in there. Charlotte was down. Dusty brought Steamboat in. Steamboat had retired. He brought Steamboat back. Tagged with Manny Fernandez and put the world belts on him. I mean, the territory was down. They were really trying to bring it up. There was no time to school me. So I just kind of sat around. Knowing this, I begged Dusty to send me to Kansas City where I could be in the ring every night.
Right.
For $50 a night. It was a big pay cut, but not really because you only work once a week as opposed to 6 nights a week.
Well, so then what did you learn in Kansas City? I mean, I was talking to Jake about getting over. I mean, what was your approach? Because now, as Razor, once you assume that gimmick, and we're going to get to that in a minute, you know how to get over. Back then, what was your mantra? What was your MO?
Well, I bounced around to some different territories, and I feel like I learned some stuff along the way. I think you only learn when you're around guys who know more than you, and I wasn't around anybody who knew more than me. I crossed paths with Shawn Michaels in Kansas City, and I remember making a road trip to him one time, Kansas City to Des Moines. And Shawn, when he was doing jobs in Dallas, used to call the matches to the guys going over.
Really?
He was that good.
What were your impressions of a young Shawn Michaels?
Well, at that time, I was booked as a heel, so I thought finally some little pretty boy like that will toss around. I can toss around, and he doesn't have a problem with it.
Right.
A lot of those guys, they don't want to be bumped or anything, and not by me.
Right.
So I don't know. We hit it off. I think we had a lot in common then. A little smirky smile, and I don't know. We've been friends since then.
What about the tag team American Starship with Dan Spivey?
Now, me and Danny was the thing where they put us together and we didn't know each other. And we don't know each other that well now. We never really hung out before or since. And, I don't have anything against Danny. He's a great guy.
Right.
But we just didn't click. And
what was the gimmick? I mean, American Starship, you're Starship Coyote,
right.
Which would years later you end up with a Wolfpack. So,
yeah.
I mean, there's a genesis there, but he was American Starship Eagle.
Yeah.
What is American Starship?
I don't know.
Sounds great. What is it?
I have no idea. It's Dusty. Ask Dusty.
Yeah.
We were going to see, now Dusty was still booked in Florida. And I often wonder, looking back, had he not left, what would have happened? Because we were going to be his road warriors.
Right.
2 big muscle heads. That's what somebody did with the Warriors, just took 2 guys and pushed them, and it worked. So Dusty was going to do that. Now, had we been in Florida under Dusty's thing, it would have been a whole different deal. But it didn't happen.
So you didn't really know Dan Spivey. How was it like going down the road with you guys? I mean, he's a pretty salty guy. No BS.
No,
if you mess with Spivey, he's probably going to duke you out.
Yeah, Danny's a big badass, and he had a lot of success in Japan. He kind of liked that style better. I just he wasn't real happy with the decision to move from Charlotte. It was all me.
Right.
Begging Dusty to hook me up with Harley so I could go there.
Right.
Because I wanted to be in the ring every day. Danny would rather take the 200 a night and work once a week, and I'm thinking, no, I'd rather work every night.
Right.
And I was more interested in being a single wrestler anyway.
Why is that? Because for me, it's always a liability factor. Dude, if your partner goes down,
right.
Dude, you're screwed.
Yeah. And,
was it the same for you, or you just wanted a spotlight on you?
I think I probably wanted the spotlight on me.
Right.
If I'm going to make it, no one ever breaks in to work their way to the middle. I mean, I had dreams of being a big star and being a single guy.
So somewhere along the way, you impressed Nick Bockwinkel and Larry Zbyszko, and you head up to the AWA.
I actually crossed paths with Jack Lanza in St. Louis because they used to bring guys in from the AWA, from Charlotte, and from Dallas to run big shows in St. Louis. And the opening match guys would be the Kansas City crew. We would drive in, be the opening matches, and leave. So I'm in the locker room, and Lanza looks at me and he goes, "Hey, kid, you ready to make a move?" And I said, "No, sir, I'm not ready." And he goes, "Everybody's the shits when they start." And I said, in that case, I'm ready.
Right.
Like, as long as you feel that way, bro, cool. So he took me, and that was the beginning of my AWA run.
Okay, and you go in as, how long did it take you to come up with the Magnum Scott Hall gimmick?
Actually, at that time, I got so much heat for that. Lord James Blears. Lord James Blears was the announcer.
Yeah.
At this time, now Barry has left Charlotte, where he was getting a big babyface shove. He left because he wasn't happy with the terms. And they brought Magnum in, and they had to hotshot Magnum.
Right.
Because Barry was getting mega pushed.
Right.
And he just left. I was with him. He got his check. We were in the parking lot.
Right.
I'm riding with him. He looks at his check, and he went, pfft. And he went right inside, and he gave his notice.
Dude, that's so Barry Windham.
And then he came back out, and I said, "Fuck, I'm going to wait here. I don't want this heat, you know. I'm going to wait out here, brother." And he went in, and he came back, and he goes, "Well, hell, he told me not to worry about 2 weeks. I'm out of here now." And he went right to Vince.
Really?
Yeah. Now, Rotundo gave us notice and went in, and they did the U.S. Express
Right.
or whatever. You know,
Right.
Rotundo did what he had to do, but I don't know, man.
But the territory, I mean, dude, Barry was, second generation guy, hardcore business guy, to me, one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I'm a
and
huge
dude,
fan.
I don't like the pay, I'm out.
Yeah, he's not a mark about it. He don't
Right.
care about belts and stuff like that, or all
Right.
the push and anything. No, like, okay, no,
Right.
this is pro wrestling.
Right.
Pro meaning get paid.
Okay, so the hot shot Magnum.
So meanwhile,
TA,
they're hot shotting Magnum to try to make up for this void for Barry.
Right.
So it's Magnum. And at the same time, now this Lord James Blears, we're wrestling in the Showboat Casino in Las Vegas. By the way, the big drawing card at the Showboat is they have bowling alleys.
Right.
That's kind of the place it is. Nothing against bowling. But, and this guy lives in Hawaii. We're in there filming Magnum PI back there then. So the guy sees Selleck around town. He comments, "Oh, he looks like that's a Magnum Scott." I have no idea this is going on. This is the commentator saying this.
Yeah.
I never said it on the interview. I never claimed that character.
Right.
So it's right away heat with TA. You know,
Right.
Like, I remember years later when I came into work trying to get a job as like Scott Hall in WCW, and Magnum was working in the office. He goes, "Yeah, we can probably give you a look. Of course, you're going to have to get your own identity." And I remember thinking, "Yes, sir." Like, whatever.
How long did you work as a singles before you tag up with Curt Hennig?
Well, when I got to Minneapolis, that's when the first time I worked for a big company that kind of knew what they were doing. And
Now, how was that territory back then? Because when I got it, because TV was so regional back then, I caught the downside of the AWA.
Yeah, it was
high
already
quality shit, but there was the heyday years when it was.
well, and
kicking ass.
I came in right. I remember. I'll never forget one time wrestling in Chicago at the Rosemont, and it was nearly full. Now I've never been in front of a crowd that big. I've been wrestling in front of 50 people in bumfuck Kansas.
Right.
And Michael, I'll never forget the Freebirds were there, and I'm a huge Freebird fan.
Oh, me too.
Michael Hayes goes, "Man, we're out of here. This place is dead." And I'm thinking, "Whoa!" But I remember thinking, "Whoa!" And the houses were going down. They were still big houses to me,
Right.
But they were going down.
Right.
Now they put me with Hennig because Hennig was such a great performer, and I wasn't. And they liked how I looked, so Curt would cell tag me. I'd pin the guy.
Right.
You know, that's what they were doing, and it was working. It was working to the point where people were yelling from the aisleway, like, "Oh, get a new partner. Hennig's holding you down." I was going, no, he's not.
They don't understand
He's
what
propping
you're
me
doing. Go back 15 seconds. You talked about Freebirds, Michael Hayes, Bam Bam Gordy, and Buddy Jack Roberts. Hall of Fame material or not?
Definitely. If it doesn't happen this year, if it doesn't happen in Dallas,
I
oh
said
my
the same
God.
thing.
I'll never forget one time, we're doing TV in Atlantic City. It's ESPN, so this is national exposure for me. These guys don't care who this big muscle. A lot of the guys are, this guy's getting a push, he can't do anything. A lot of that going on. It's not my fault.
Right.
But I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
But the Birds aren't marks. They don't care. Their job is to make the kid look good. Okay. It was a 6-man, me, Slaughter, and Hennig against the Birds.
Yeah.
So I'm in with Buddy. He goes, "Block the slam me."
Right.
Because I don't know anything.
Right.
And I get him
Still.
here. Yeah, exactly. And as I'm here, he goes, "Watch for Michael." Because if he didn't say that, I wouldn't have known. Because I'd have been standing there filling space, and Michael's been like running in place, waiting, "Slam me." So I slammed him. Boom. He came fed right in. Boom. Now, and I'm here. He goes, "Watch for Terry." Boom. Here comes Terry. Boom.
Jesus.
Now, I mean, back in the day, 3 slams.
Wow.
3 slams in a row.
On the Freebirds?
Woo.
Yeah.
I'm marked out now thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm firing and stuff, and Curt's on the apron going, Scott. And I look around and he goes, tag Sarge. Sarge had gotten down off the apron and was sitting in the front row.
Really?
Like, you guys don't need me.
Oh.
And that's when I started learning, like, okay, not everybody's, you know,
with the program.
The things, ways work. A lot of guys are cheering and going,
right.
I don't know. I mean, it opened my eyes. Like, oh, okay. I get it. Oh,
Yeah.
Sarge feels like we're competing for the thing. I'm thinking,
Right.
no, man, you're here.
I mean, but dude, they came in, shined you up, and boom, he takes a powder, and he's sulking over there.
Yeah, that's how I looked at it.
Right. So, dude, how was it when all of a sudden you got a guy midway up? He said, "Watch for Michael. Watch for Bam Bam." I mean, that had to be like light bulb going off, and like, you're about to have an orgasm.
Now I get to the point where I'm working with guys going, well, then is he going to feed?
Right.
You know, now you start expecting it. You know.
Yeah.
And it's the right thing. Vince doesn't allow that anymore.
Really?
That's when somebody told me that if you watch tag matches now, you know how back in the day guys would feed, but bang.
Yeah.
I heard they can't do that anymore.
Oh, dude. And see, that's one of the big things. I was trying to talk with Edge and Christian about some of the nuances that are lost in today's tag team, you know, scene. And, you know, not to rehash the entire conversation, but, you know, cutting off the ring, using those tag ropes to choke somebody. You can't choke somebody anymore because it's not PC or just, you know, everything that's happened in the past. But, dude, the whole thing, blind tag, false tag, turning that referee, getting some heat, using the top ropes, cheating.
I remember, I remember when Shawn Michaels first broke up from the Rockers and then Marty went on his way. So Shawn's a single wrestler as a heel by himself. And I'm traveling with him every day.
Right.
And, you know, I've known him since Kansas City. And we got heat with everybody because we're getting pushed, and we don't care. You know, I'd rather get along with everybody, but I really don't care. And so we're riding up and down the road, and I go, Shawn, can I ask you something, man? I said, you know, yeah. And I said, you're one of the best technical wrestlers out there. And now because you're heel, you just kick and punch? I said, no, man, it's your personality that makes you heel, not your moves. You know, like Nick Bockwinkel was a wrestling heel.
Right.
He would always wrestle, then he'd just use the ropes a little bit to gain the advantage. He'd go back and you go, you son of a...
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff I like. I remember me and Kev, when we were teaming as the Outsiders, we would always do false tag. And we would always cheat because we were popular. And we were acting like babyface.
Right.
I mean, but we cheated.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we were over because we were off Vince's TV. It was a weird time.
Yeah.
You know, you went through it with the whole, you were anti-babyface.
So what did Shawn say when you told him, hey, so now you're heel?
Well,
Did he go, oh, eyes open?
Yeah. And it was, I mean, I remember then I had to work against Shawn. They booked Razor versus Shawn in the Garden, and we're both heels. And I'm thinking, well, they're going to be with Shawn. He's like young pretty boy. And he's going, well, I'm not sure, but if they go with you, just act surprised. Like if they start to go Razor, he goes, you know, because we were never going to the people.
Right.
You know, I didn't like that. But if
hardly anybody did back then.
But you do the
Yeah.
I think it's way better.
Yeah.
Then they're watching you.
Right.
We work them, they don't work us.
Right.
But they came with me big, and it was like I act like, you know, like but then went back to But and then before the match he went, well, how am I going to get you to sell? Because he came from that era when he's working with Warlord. Marty drop kicks him, Shawn drop kicks him, double drop kick. He goes, And I said, punch me. Like, you know, dude, get on me. I'm going to sell, you know. And it was like all new to him, like, oh, God, somebody will sell for me.
Yeah,
and he's so stiff that you don't have much choice anyway. But
you mentioned Rosemount Horizon. I was on a podcast talking with Edge and Christian, their favorite building to perform in, mine too, because the acoustics of that building and how crazy that crowd is. The Garden is special. That's 1 and 2 for me. Your favorite building to work in?
Wow.
Everybody's got one.
You know, I don't know. Wow, the Rosemont's there. I would think the Garden. I had some special matches there. The last time I was in the Garden was the celebration they did for Hulk.
Yeah.
But prior to that was the curtain call.
I know.
So that place has always been special to me. I still wish that, gosh, I can't think of the recording artist's name now, but she sings that song, Give Me One Reason to Stay Here.
Right.
And I'll turn right back around. I mean, that's what I wanted to walk to the ring to.
Right.
I didn't want to leave there. I didn't want to leave.
Right.
But I'll say this for Vince, he never sold. The buildings were sold out.
Right.
Kev's on top, I'm semi-main, and he's not selling.
I want to come to that here in just a little bit because that was a big part of my career.
I know.
And a big part for the turning point of the business and guaranteed money.
Geico asks, How would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more. And Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's simple. Go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
And working with Curt Hennig and kind of under his arm, what did you learn from that guy? One of the smartest cats in the business and one of the greatest workers of all time.
I agree. And I'm so amazed by Curt and influenced by him because...
But how giving was he? He took me, when I first showed up in WWF, he took me into the production truck to meet Kevin Dunn. He goes, you got to know this guy. And dude, so I know...
He smartened me up about that. He taught me early on, always babyface the crew.
Right.
You know, always babyface the crew guys.
Right.
Because then it gets to the point where I'm doing something, and I'll take the guy and I go, hey, is there any place I could stand there where you guys could shoot me better? And the guy goes, actually, if you move up a couple feet here and there and stuff like that. But Curt was so unselfish because this is before guaranteed money. So as far as he knows, we're competing for the same job, top babyface. But he does all the work in the matches. Right. He always started the match because he said, no, we're going to get a pop just for you coming in. Now you want the big guy. Like, I always started again with Kev. Yeah. It's like, no, now you're going to get it. Yeah. And he did all those things. He always soul tagged me. He was never a mark about that. And he was just, he got off on smartening people up.
Right.
You know, I mean, I remember he told me early on he would always grab the young guys and put them in the car. And always babyface and have them ride with him, stuff like that. And then he'd go, be nice to everybody. Never know who they turn out to be. He always had an angle on it.
Right.
But he was always, and you got to remember now, Shawn Michaels crossed paths with Curt then in AWA. And I think Curt influenced Shawn. It all came about, I think, like, if it's your night, like, if you're going over, then you're going over, bro. It's not going to be, oh, I barely kick out. You're beating me, you're beating me.
Right.
Like, you're going to make a hell of a comeback, then beat me. Like, let's don't just, you know, I never understood guys who kick out on 3. Like, oh, I almost didn't lose. Right. I never got that.
So you end up AWA for what, 4 or 5 years? 3 or 4?
Yeah, 3 maybe.
Cup of coffee in Puerto Rico. You end up in WCW.
I left. In the meantime, I'd had success in Japan and in Europe. I never had any success in the U.S. where it mattered.
Working with Otto Wantz?
I worked for Otto Wantz, more to eat.
Now, how was that over? Were y'all working 5-minute rounds, or were y'all working straight through?
3-minute rounds.
3-minute rounds.
And
tell me about that.
Well, to me, it was kind of cool because I've never met a guy from the UK who couldn't work.
Oh, yeah.
Who didn't have psychology.
And those guys were all way more technical than most of the American wrestlers.
Yeah, it was all chain wrestling because the ring was like a billiard table. So I got to learn some of that. Yeah. And the thing about the rounds was kind of cool to me because, like, you could get heat, like, it was a cerebral kind of thing, like just the bell would ring and then you hit the guy, then you're like with the ref, like no, hey, and the ref, you know. Right. I mean, they would give you a yellow card, red card. Yeah. It was, they used to fine you if the heel broke the rule. They would fine the heel.
Really?
So we would do stuff with the heel. They had a heel referee. We'd do things like I would cheat. The heel would, like, I'd pull the guy's hair. He'd pull my hair.
Right.
I'd take a bump. The ref sees it, fines the babyface. Fans would come forward and pay the fine, and then we'd all split it at the end of the night. Yeah, it was great.
How long were you down in Germany?
I did like 4 seasons.
Come and go?
4 7-month seasons. I used to go Europe to Japan.
Okay.
Then a little bit. I went to Puerto Rico because I wanted to learn how to do angles and stuff.
And they were shooting more angles down there. So then in the round system in Germany, working with Otto Wantz, I mean, that's basically 3-minute round stuff.
Right.
And you learn some chain wrestling. Yeah. The match hard. You go to Japan. And was this when strong style was prevalent? Because you don't seem like a guy to be down with strong style.
I'll tell you what, I remember everybody in that era, when you would go to Japan, everybody said, well, work strong. The thing was work strong. So, and then all the guys work out over there.
Yeah.
Like you get to the building and all the guys are doing squats and push-ups. So you're one of the guys, all the other Gaijins are over there doing it. So it's like, well, then I'm over there doing it. I remember Murdoch was laying on a row of chairs. And he's obviously the top guy. And he's rocking it every night. Staying out drinking all night, rocking it. And he goes, hey, kid. I go, yes, sir. He goes, you want to know how I've been coming here for 20 years? I went, yeah, how? He goes, because I sell for these guys. You know, he just... Like being, I just learned so much from Murdoch, and he wasn't like he was teaching me. He wasn't going, hey, kid, do it. I learned it from watching it. I'll never forget one match there when I'm in the ring, like I start, and he's going to come in and straighten it out. And I'm doing something, he's going, take him down. Take him down. Now, the fans are so hip in Japan,
right.
They're going to take him down. Then he's going to tag me. I tag him. He gets in like this. He takes the guy down. He goes, now you do it. And tags me back in. And so I go, okay. And the fans are getting with it. And then I'm going, and he goes, no, hold him there. Tag me. And we go back and forth where it's working like organically.
Right.
To the point where when I was thinking of angles to go to work for events, like ideas, gimmicks, I thought about coming in, I was all muscled up, and I thought maybe I'll just buzz cut my hair and come in like a badass country boy, but almost babyface. Like, well, I got him beat, Uncle Dick, and he going, you want to be a champion? Hurt him. And I'm going, yes, sir. Like I was thinking of an angle like that with Dick. I don't know if Dick would have been down with it, but I knew that he was so gifted, and I was trying to squeeze it out of him.
Was your mind always working like that, thinking of the next big thing, or the angle, or the identity, which could make or break you?
Not so much me. I get a lot of heat for people saying I was so selfish and holding people down. I don't see myself.
No. To me, it just seems like your brain's always spinning, trying to think about it.
No, I am, and that's what I mean. It's not always about me.
Right.
Sometimes you'll see somebody go, you know how it is. You go through the same thing. You'll see somebody go, oh, I can make money with that guy.
Right.
Just the guy have a certain look or the way people move, and you just.
The thing you were doing there with Murdoch, I mean, that was basically a shoot.
Oh, it's a complete shoot.
He was schooling you right there in the middle of the ring.
Right.
And it was a valuable lesson that you learned.
Oh, yeah.
Before we were rolling cameras, we had some difficulties. You told me one more story about learning. And the other thing you said about Dick Murdoch, he goes, I've been coming here for 20 years. I sell for these guys. I was talking to Jake Roberts the other day, and he said, as a babyface, one of the most important things you got to do, sell. Right. So, basically the same along the lines of what Jake was saying. You had a Tully Blanchard story. You came back from a match. You'd just been working. Tell that story just as far as the learning process goes. I
mean, I came back from the ring, and, I was on like second or something in front of a big house. It came through, and, and I'm just happy I didn't forget everything. And Tully's right there at the curtain. Hey, kid, can I talk to you?
Tully Blanchard.
Yes, sir. And I'm going, yeah, yes, sir. And he goes, I was watching you. A couple things you did that, and that was good. Keep doing that. That one thing, that was horrible. Don't ever do that again. And so I'm going, and I'm thinking, wow, Tully Blanchard's taking time to
cares
talk to me.
for me.
Oh, my God, like Tully likes me. And then he starts to walk on and he goes, and don't be confused. He said, not like I care about you, but I don't want you killing the crowd off before I go out. Because the horsemen do this house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thanks, I think. Like, I wasn't sure what was going to, but I was happy I got the information.
But again, that was another light bulb going off. Hey, here's what time it is.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, now you make now this is the bigs.
Yeah,
this is the Charlotte Coliseum, whatever. It's sold out. By the way, you had nothing to do with the crowd being here, so don't kill them off.
Yeah, but it's a heads up.
Yeah, like, hey, put your big boy tights on.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and I like it like that. I like a super competitive environment. I think it's good. I think it's good for business. It's not good for the health of the locker room, maybe.
Right.
But I heard Vince commenting on it. It's good for business.
It's good for business. But before we talk about WCW and the Diamond Stud with Diamond Dallas Page, you were recently at a WWE event and you saw a sign at the gorilla position.
Yeah.
And it said, "Sell intensity." Explain that.
I don't know, Steve. I'm so new to being back in the fold that I'm probably going to ask next time I go around.
Right.
But it says sell, and then underneath it, intensity. Now, I don't know if that means, okay, guys, remember to sell and then be intense, or if it's sell intensity. I don't know. I don't think you can always be intense because otherwise people don't know the difference.
Yeah,
if you don't go down, if you don't sell, you can't make a comeback.
How big of a fan of Jerry Lawler's work were you? Because I was a huge mark for him.
Big fan of Jerry.
Okay.
And you know what I like about Jerry is he's like Dick Clark of wrestling.
Right.
He doesn't age. But he goes, well, that's because I never worked out. So I don't have to work out now. I mean,
but also he's a teetotaler and he never got into anything.
Right.
But one of my things, when you talk about intensity, the thing that I loved about Jerry Lawler was, man, he started off wrestling a match. It would build to him pulling the strap down, making his comeback.
Right.
Okay, get into a big, long feud. They could take him and Savage. I mean, they're still going to lock up and build from that point. And that's what I loved about Jerry Lawler's intensity. There's intensity within the lockup, but he was such a veteran and such a damn good worker. He wasn't a scientific wrestler. People don't really understand that about Jerry. He really was more of a brawler.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he made his living standing up. He'd take his bumps.
Right.
But his intensity was at a relaxed tone, and even when he took it to the comeback, he had intensity, but he never was going like, maniac.
Right.
And he told great stories.
Have you worked with Jerry?
I worked with him 3 times when I first broke into business, and Jerry's one of those guys that's kind of like a ventriloquist. And I don't hear very good, so I started calling my matches at a very young age in the business, although I was still green. So anyway, he's booking. He books 3 matches with me, Memphis, Louisville, and Evansville. We start walking around that first night. I've been in the business, brother, 3 months. We hadn't even locked up yet. I'm used to locking up with a guy, and then they start talking to me. And so Lawler's a guy, all right, kid, go ahead, lock, 1 tackle, drop down, hit toss. And we're pacing around. And there's probably, 500 people in the building. And I go, what? He called the spot.
I used to do that even when I heard the guy.
What? Basically for the guy in the front row. 1 tackle, drop down, hip toss. So anyway, we started locking up from then on. I only had 3 matches with Lawler, and I was green as grass.
I remember.
You got any good Lawler stories?
Well, I just remember working with him one time, and he never really bumped. God bless
that's
him.
what I'm saying.
God bless him, but he would sell down to his knees.
Yeah.
So, when I worked with him, he was working as a heel.
Yeah.
So I'm standing over and punching him because I can't toss him around. I respect him too much to be bumping him around.
Right.
So we're just doing some dark match at the TV.
Right.
So I'm just punching him, and as I'm punching him, he's slapping me on the side with his hand to get the noise.
Sound effect.
And I'm going, so that's a good way to make me quit punching you because
Yeah.
the slaps hurt.
But he would bump, working with Dundee, he bumped. Working with Savage, some of the big backdrop over the top rope onto the table. He took his bumps when he was working with the right guy. Right. Obviously had some great matches with Nick Bockwinkel, who he loved to work with.
Yeah.
So he would bump when the opponent was right. Thinking about bumps, you being a big guy, before we get to the Diamond Stud, what is your take on taking a bump?
I broke in. You were talking about Ole Anderson earlier.
Yeah.
I remember one time being in the office at Charlotte, Crockett Promotions in Charlotte, where they had like a studio to film stuff and concrete floor. And because we're just showing up. I mean, I'm on the grounds crew. We're in too green to have matches, but I'm getting paid, so I'm like showing up, hanging around. Sometimes we just hang around and watch interviews. Me and Spivey are standing there. And Gene Anderson has us taking bumps on the concrete floor.
How was Gene? I never got a chance to watch.
When I met him, I think he
was like 100.
Yeah, and he was working they had like a desk job, and I don't know if he'd been hitting the head a lot.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't have much to do with him.
Right.
But now he's telling us to bump, and so we're taking bumps on the concrete floor. And part of me's thinking, man, I'm going back to the strip club scene. What is this all about? Yeah. This is BS.
Yeah.
And then he goes, you had enough? And by now, and I'm thinking, screw this wrestling. I said, yeah, what is that, a trick question?
Yeah.
Like, am I tough enough to keep doing it, or am I stupid enough to keep doing it? What?
Right.
And then he went, God. Actually, I'll never forget, J.J. Dillon walked through right about then. And J.J. was the first guy to show me anything about work.
Really?
Just to work to work a top wrist lock.
J.J.?
Which is something I always go to. J.J. was there. He was Dusty. He always worked with Dusty real well. He was the detail guy. Dusty painted with the broad strokes, and J.J. filled in the fine points. And he walked by, and he said, no, here, put me in a headlock. And we worked the top wrist lock.
Yeah.
And I do that all the time with guys. I got my kid doing that. I said, work the top wrist. Nobody does it. It's new. I got my son do a top wrist lock takeover. I said, do it. People who understand wrestling will go, oh, wow, I haven't seen that in years.
Right. Yeah.
It's so funny. I feel so relevant now in the wrestling scene because I got a son who's in the New Japan dojo, and we DM back and forth all the time. And I often say what I need to hear. Like I'm telling him, just keep grinding one day at a time, put one foot in front of the other, keep going, keep going. And then I'll read it back to him. Wow, I need to apply that to me. But it's just, I remember we moved here to Georgia. I moved here with Dally on his invitation. Now I live 2 blocks from Dally.
Right.
And he goes, and Cody moved here, and I remember we were riding to a show one time, and I go along and just film his matches with him. I hang out in the locker room with the guys. I walk out with him. I don't like to distract from what those guys are doing, so I stay in the back. I walk out with Cody. I walk back with Cody. And I learned early on that being his wrestling coach and being his dad, there's a division there. Because I like to catch guys like Tully did with me. Right as soon as you come through and go, hey, what were you thinking then?
Right.
And you go, well, I was thinking this. Well, because it looked like this. So with Cody, I would say that, and I go, Cody, what do you think? Well, I was thinking this, and I go, yeah, we'll see it look like this. And he'd go, yeah, but.
Right.
So that's when I realized, oh, I get it. Because I'm just dad to him. I'm not Razor. I'm not that NWO guy.
Right.
I'm the guy who made him eat his vegetables.
Right.
So then I figured out how to deal with that. So I just say nothing until he asked me.
Right.
So he went through the development where being a worker means, I know how to do moves. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, okay. I don't say anything to him now. I just let him do his thing.
Right.
Then we're in the car after one match. He goes, Dad, none of these guys will do what I want to do. And I go, welcome to pro wrestling. It's one thing to be able to do moves. Now, talk the guy into taking them, So he goes, okay. I don't say anything more.
Right.
The next road trip, Dad, how did you get guys to do what you want to do? I said, what worked for me, Cody, is do what they want to do first. Put them over first. Then they can't wait to put you over.
Right.
So it's just that it's so funny for me to be on this ground floor level with him.
But now you're handling it at a different angle than.
Well, I'm hoping I'm doing a little bit wiser.
Right.
And I always yield to him. I go, you do what you feel.
Right. Yeah, because ultimately he's got to learn it.
Yeah.
And feeling and that is hand in hand. Going back to your conversation with JJ and him kind of taking you under his wing a little bit and showing you how to work holds.
Right.
You've always been a very sarcastic guy. Your sarcasm is one of your strong points with respect to how funny you are. Did you have that same sarcasm back in the old days, and how was it taken? Because sometimes if a guy doesn't know you, you're this big, imposing, good-looking guy, kind of disrespectful. Did people get that out of you? Did you rub people the wrong way?
Probably. I mean, I think I just kind of bumbled through so many opportunities just being a big redneck.
Right.
And not having any people skills or not realizing that people don't know I'm joking.
When did you start putting the people skills together and getting, hey, man, this is work and you got to get along with people? Okay, maybe not. Never.
Right now. I'm working on it now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just realized that for me, dealing with people, everybody is who they are, and you have to accept the good qualities and the bad qualities.
Right.
You can't just isolate qualities, and I can't isolate them in myself.
Yeah.
So I just have to give myself a break and give the same break to other people.
Right.
I always looked at it there's some guys that I'm going to travel with and hang with and go to the gym with. They're my buds, my boys. There's other guys then I'm wrestling this other guy every night. So that's a whole different relationship. We ain't going to have dinner together. We're not going to go out and drink together. But, as long as you're clicking in the ring and you see that guy, you see him in the locker room, it's hey, what's up, man? There's that certain bond you have with guys,
right.
So I always looked at it like that. I always say the same thing. It ain't show friends, it's show business.
Right.
I just as soon get along with everybody, but all that ultimately matters, all I really concerned myself with was what the guy I wrestled thought, what the guy who pays me thinks, and what the people who bought tickets think.
At this stage in your career, and we're coming up to WCW, but now as you're coming up in the business, what is your education process as far as learning how and what you need to be paid? Barry Windham, your friend who took you.
Oh, I remember looking at that check.
He left.
That's the one he left on. I'm going, whoa.
Okay.
It was $7,000, and I went, whoa.
Okay, so when
this
did
is
you start?
80s.
Yeah.
$7,000 on road trips.
Right. So when did you start learning about that process? Because these days I'll always tell kids, because back in the day, I started learning what the houses were, where I was on the card,
right.
putting all the pieces together.
Right.
And you came in, when you guys left, and we're going to get to that. That's when the big money era. That's when the big money era happened.
Right.
So when did you start putting the pieces together as far as pay?
I guess I remember I was first drawn to wrestling because I just liked the lifestyle. I just thought it was so cool that you get to do this, and you got your days free to work out. You work at night. It's kind of cool. People put you over. You're on TV.
Well, it's the coolest job in the world.
It is the best job in the world. And so I was always drawn to that. Then, don't get me wrong, I just wanted to be Dusty. I just wanted to be Barry Windham. I just wanted to be over in Florida so maybe I could meet chicks. Now.
And that's as far as it went.
I had no idea. I just wanted to be over in my hometown. And then, don't get me wrong, I was all about it going global and everything and being huge. And
right.
I remember the first time I got a doll, I thought, heck, I can retire. I made it.
Right.
And I never really was concerned about money. If it was being paid, I remember leaving. I was shooting vignettes with Vince for the Razor character, and he left TV and personally directed him in South Beach. And I know this is good, but I know from being around Curt to be humble, bumble as could be.
Right.
I'm just being humble, bumble. But then when I hit that curtain, I'm doing my thing.
Right.
And then when I come back through, I'm not doing, was that okay? Like Curt said, when you
Right.
come through, you come straight to me.
Right.
Don't ask people, was that okay? Was that okay?
Yeah.
He goes, come straight to me. Walk through like you knew it was okay. If somebody
Yeah,
says,
right.
hey, good, say thank you, but come straight to me.
Right.
Like, don't be walking around going, you know.
Yeah, because you're questioning.
Yeah,
You're losing the alpha.
Yeah, just boom. And I remember, like, it started raining, as it will do down that part of the country. And so we go through the airport, and we're in the car on the way to the airport, and Vince is loving the gimmick because he's never seen Scarface.
Right.
And I'm just ripping off Scarface, and Vince is laughing. He's loving it. And he tells me to, like, speak really slowly. He goes, there's a difference between commanding attention and demanding attention. Like, he's really involved with the development of this character, which is great for me.
Right.
And now we're on the way to the airport, and he's laughing. He goes, you're going to make a lot of money. And my first thought, having been around a little bit, is, would you put that in writing?
Yeah.
But I said, thanks, Vince. I said, I don't have to have the most. I just want a lot. And he popped. And he goes, you're going to get it. And I'm thinking, things are good. Things are good. I mean, I realized there was a time when I would look at the houses and the way business was going. Now, I was there, and you were there for the tail end of, all through the steroid trial, which was sapping resources from Vince,
Right.
through the ICOPRO era, through the WBF.
Yeah.
Now, who's the backbone of all this stuff?
You guys were weathering that storm.
Guys on the road.
Yeah.
So houses were coming up, and business is dead. That steroid scandal hurt business.
Right.
I was actually being prepped as a witness for Vince by Jerry McDevitt for the steroid scandal because I was more successful off the roids.
Right.
They were going to call me for it. They never did, but I was prepped for it.
Right.
And it's just...
That conversation with Vince is incredible that he would say that to you.
Yeah,
Because, dude, that a light goes off in your head. One time we were filming a vignette, and it was when I first started becoming stone cold. And it was myself and Vince and a Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. We're waiting at a gate. It's just a pipe gate with a chain on it, waiting for someone to unlock it. I'm going to throw a belt off something or do something. So we're sitting there. It's Vince and me. It's uncomfortable silence because we don't really know each other, dude. I've been working there 7-8 months, but, he's the boss, I'm the dude. And I'm not really, over yet. So, out of the blue, he just says, Steve, as a promoter, you never want a talent to know what they're worth. And he just said that out of the dead silence, and I was like, bam. Okay, it's not just with wrestling, Scott. I mean, it's in life. You want to pay someone as little as you can pay them to get any job done. But when he said that to me with respect to the business, I okay, now I got to learn how to work the system.
And he doesn't say things by accident.
No, but that being said, that conversation he had with you, just that exchange, because he was so caught up in the character. And he said, "Oh, you're going to make a lot of money out of the blue," and then you jumped on that and says, "Well, as long as it's a lot," and it's almost, it's like a rib on the square.
Yeah.
And it's that come to Jesus meeting. A lot of guys miss that boat. I want to come back to the pitch of that character to Vince, but I got to talk about the run with the Diamond Stud in WCW because you were kind of on your ass at this point.
I've been successful in Japan and in Europe, but not in the U.S. where it matters.
Right.
And
why did going back to AWA? I mean, just Big Scott Hall, Magnum, or Cowboy.
Right.
Why didn't that catch on? Because you were taking the Hogan spot.
Yeah, but the thing is too, I'll never forget that encounter with the Freebirds when they went, man, we're out of here. This territory's dying.
Right.
And I was real aware that everything was coming my way. And I wasn't ready for that shove.
Right.
And they were going to put the belts on me, and I remember thinking, I don't want to be captain of this sinking ship.
Interesting.
I remember they were going around the horn back when a Battle Royal drew. Back when just having a Battle Royal on the card drew in that AWA territory. Yeah. They would take it around. They would bring in guys for it.
Yeah.
And we were and the stipulation was whoever won the Battle Royal faced Bockwinkel for the title bout next time in that town.
Yeah.
So we're going to these towns, and I know I'm leaving. I've given my notice to Vern.
Right.
I remember giving my notice to Vern. Back then it was 2 weeks' notice. I went and gave my notice, and he was like, like nobody leaves me. Nobody leaves on top. And I remember saying, it's too cold here. I said, this is your hometown. I said, I can make $2,000 a week selling suntan lotion on the beach. I said, and he goes, I can make you a star. And I remember thinking, I don't have to be on TV to feel good about me. I like me. And from that moment, we had to start having a conversation like man to man.
Right.
And he goes, he looks at me and he goes, I'm rich. And I said, I know. How's it feel? He goes, it feels great. I said, I want to be rich too. I said, it's too cold here. No, this.
Right.
And I knew that, although I felt Vern was really captivated by characters like Mad Dog Vachon and all that, he always pushed those, and like Baron von Raschke, but he never had any hand in creating them.
Right.
He loved gimmicks, but he was so vanilla. Everybody was so vanilla in the AWA at that time. It was brutal. And I wanted to be, still had my roots in Florida with that, coming up on Dusty and Barry and Blackjack Mulligan. And
that's what
Dick
you really
Slater.
identified with?
I like that Southern style babyface where you told a story and it meant something, and there was backstory and stuff, not just trading holds in the ring. I liked it to mean something more. So I gave my notice because what happened was Lex left Florida to take the spot in Charlotte. Now Florida needs a top babyface. I'm unhappy in Minneapolis. Mike Graham calls me, offers me a guarantee. I said I'm there.
Right.
And went.
What was the look on Vern's face, or what was your read on him when all of a sudden, he didn't feel like he had you under his thumb?
Well, I mean, it was really cool because he started talking to me man to man.
Right.
And I said, I want to be.
That's
rich
why
too.
he knew you weren't a mark of shit.
Yeah, I'm not a mark about it. I don't need to be pushed. I'll do jobs on the way out. Whatever you need. Like I remember being in towns and they go, well, Hall's going over to Battle Royal. I said, I'm going to Bockwinkel and go, don't put me over, Nick, because I'm not going to be here next time you come back. Because everybody thinks I'm just negotiating or something like that to squeeze Vern.
Right.
I wasn't.
I was a big Nick Bockwinkel fan. Were you?
Yeah, but you ever been around Nick much?
No,
he would come around with his Elvis glasses on.
Yeah.
Now, hey, I like Nick, but he will walk around with his streets, his socks on, and no underwear on.
Yeah.
And you'd be sitting there putting your boots on, and Nick comes up like, hey kid, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, hey kid, there's fucking balls in your face. I want to talk about my boy. I want to talk about your matches. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Man?
In the ring though.
I thought he was great. I remember when I look back on the way they handled me in the AWA, knowing more now than I did then, and they put me with Greg Gagne and Curt Hennig, top babyfaces they had there, and they're doing everything to take care of me.
Right.
So I just have to pin the guy.
Okay.
And they put me out there with Ray Stevens, Nick Bockwinkel, Larry Zbyszko, and Kaminsky Park at some big show, and all I have to do is listen. It's all they're all bumping around for me. And
I was working with Ray Stevens because to this day I've still not seen hardly any of his work, but I always heard that he was just one of the greatest.
I met Ray towards
ahead of his time.
I think what him and Pat Patterson were doing in San Francisco and stuff in the '60s was groundbreaking.
Right.
It's something that, and I think Curt was really influenced by hanging around Pat Patterson, because I attribute Curt with being one of the first guys, although it was probably Pat and Ray, who Whirly's World bumped as a heel for the reaction.
Right.
Instead of just a lot of heels back in the day just crumbled down and got juice.
Right. Yeah.
And I think Flair was in that thing. I often blame Flair for the state of my spine because Flair in our era came along with that flat back and bump.
Yeah.
Remember the spot? He'd push the ref would push him, he'd flat back.
Yeah.
I think when you condition your audience that your top guy is performing that way, if you go on second or third and you're just rotting down,
right,
it doesn't work.
Right.
So it became an attack the mat era when we were coming around.
Yeah, and then that's the kind of style that
Get it again.
So you go down to Florida, but you end up kind of on your ass. You need something, or Dallas is in dire straits.
Well, now I go to Florida, and now the territories come together. Memphis, Watts territory, Nashville.
Doing some good shit.
Nashville. They all try to put this super company together to go against Vince. And so I don't fit. There's no spot for me. So, and the thing is, none of those guys could agree on anything because they all wanted their guy being featured. So it fell apart. A good idea, but didn't work. But meanwhile, Hiro Matsuda, who from the beginning I had no idea was connected with Florida Championship Wrestling. He knows I'm there. He knows that my deal's in jeopardy now. And being an honorable guy hooks me up with New Japan.
Right.
And he sends me there as his boy. So my first tour is 5 weeks, get most money I've made at that point, and they keep bringing me back. And
what did you think about the Japan style of wrestling? Because you're a guy who loves angles, storylines.
I remember being in Kurikan Hall.
To an end.
They brought me to, I just left Minneapolis. Masa Saito had just gotten out of prison in Wisconsin for the incident with Ken Patera at the McDonald's. And so he came to Japan, and they brought me in as his tag partner, which was a huge push for me. I don't even know it. But he was he was one of the few guys who made it in the U.S. and in Japan.
Yes.
And he goes back there, and they got pictures of him in handcuffs. And people are like, holy criminal. Because at that time in Japan, it was like a prize fight. They cheered for both guys. They didn't understand, like, why would you use the rope? Right. None of that heat worked with them. And I remember being in the ring with Curt and Hall, and I'm standing there, I'm so nervous. And, and they go, Scott the Hola. And I'm standing there, and he walks by, that's you. And I went, oh. Like, I remember, but I'm still thinking of what Curt had told me. I'm going, oh, God, I'm going to Japan. I need the crash course. He goes, work strong. He goes, if they put you in any goofy leg holds, go to the rope. They like that kind of stuff. They do. Oh.
That's how smart Curt is.
And so I remember one time the guy had me down, this guy Kimura had me down on my belly, my legs wrapped up around me, and I'm going like this, and I reached back and busted him wide open. And then now, I come back, I'm in the locker room with Mas, I'm going, oh, please tell him I'm so sorry. He goes, don't worry, office likes it. So then I was so green and stiff that I started getting a rep as he don't care.
Right.
And over there, the Japanese are kind of marks for that. Whoa, this is a big one, works strong, it's good. So, I'm potatoing guys, and the office is liking it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to guys later going, hey, I'll buy you a beer, I'm sorry, but it worked.
Okay, Diamond Stud era, what happens?
Okay, now I've had success in Japan and Europe, but I figure the guys who started with me, guys like Shawn Michaels and stuff, they're all in New York, and I'm not. And I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm thinking I have what it takes, but I'm being realistic enough to go, well, I must not, because I haven't made it. So I want the other riches in life. I want to be married. I want to have kids. I don't care, a little apartment, something. I'm thinking I'll work at Sears. Maybe learn how to work a forklift. I'm not dumb. I could be trained. And, that'd be a steady job. I'm thinking like that.
Yeah.
And I had one more commitment to make in Europe for Otto for 7 months. So I begged this girl to marry me. We go over there, and we're trying to have a baby because I'm coming back, and I'm going to start a real job.
Boy, you committed to that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And the thing is now.
Nobody has an exit strategy in this business, Scott, and you've got one way back.
Well, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm not going to be one of them guys who, if I'm not going to be a big star, then I'm really not interested in being in this.
Okay.
Okay, if I don't have it, then I don't have it.
Right.
And so I remember coming back now, though, the reality's setting in. We come back to America. She's 7 months pregnant with Cody, who's now 24.
Yeah.
So this is way back, and it's like, oh, my God, and I don't have insurance or anything like that. I'm working as a bouncer, and I'm going, oh my God. So I called Dally, and if you know Dallas, he's relentless in his work ethic, and he was managing the Freebirds at that time, the new Freebirds when it was Jimmy Garvin and Michael Hayes. And I said, man, you're too big to manage the Freebirds, man. And he goes, no, man, Dallas, he's always thought about it. No, man, I stand with my legs spread on the interview so I don't look as tall. And I said, you need someone to stand next to you, make you look small. I said, you need a Diamond Stud. And he goes, whoa, bro. So he's off on a tangent. He relentlessly hounds Dusty about it, and I get a tryout.
So that was your idea, the Diamond Stud?
No, he had talked about making me and Al Perez the Diamond Studs back in Florida, way back in the day.
So the seed was planted.
He had mentioned that to me, and I just brought it back up to him.
As a single.
So then he would call me at 3 in the morning, bro. And I got a pregnant old lady.
Yeah.
Bro, no one's had black hair in wrestling since Honky. Everybody's got blonde hair. You got to have black hair. And I'm going, oh, man, I don't know. So I dye it brown. I got it blonde at the time. Then a couple days later, bro, that mustache got to go. And I'm thinking, like 20 years, I've had this stash. And it was the 80s, people still wore mustaches. And I'm thinking, like, wow, I don't know. And then he goes, bro, you got to go with the stubble, the Rob Lowe stubble. He gave me everything. We were at Waffle. I'm debuting at TV. I've got the black hair. I got the stubble.
It was a great look.
Thank you. And we're working we're at Fayetteville, North Carolina, and this is before catering at TVs.
Yeah.
So we're at a Waffle House. It happens to be at the end of the parking lot. Like, yay. We're in there eating. We're paying the bill, and Dallas grabs a toothpick. She goes, bro, I got it. He's going, I got it. We'll both have toothpicks. So, and I'm so happy to have a job. I've signed a 1-year deal. I don't care. I know I'm good for a year.
Yeah.
I got a pregnant kid.
Yeah.
And So the thing is, and he had browbeat Dusty to get the Janet Jackson like headphone mic so he could use his hands when he talked.
Yeah.
So we're walking down the aisle, he's talking, we get in the ring, he's talking, his toothpick falls out. And I don't talk, Dallas is talking. But I know enough, now I've been around a few years.
Yeah.
I see the red light on the camera, I went, bing. And after that, you're the guy with the toothpick, and I go, I sure am. I sure am. You know, like, he gave it all to me. And the same thing about Dallas is cut from that same cloth as Curt. He's not selfish. There's nothing selfish about him. He gave me that gimmick. Now, backtrack to, I get home from TV. There's 3 messages on my voicemail from Pat Patterson. Now, prior to this, I'm asking Curt, what do I do? What do I do? He goes, just call the office, ask for Pat. I call Steve, I call once a week for a year. Every week. Every week I call. Can I speak to Pat Patterson, please? Who's calling? This is Scott Hall calling. 1 minute, please. I'm sorry, Pat's in a meeting. Just please tell him Scott Hall called. Thank you very much. Every week.
Straight up.
Every week. Because I'm fucking. What do I got to lose?
Right.
He's not talking to me anyway.
Right.
I'm just going to ask for a tryout.
Yeah.
So now I get back, and now I got 3 voicemails from Pat. So I'm going, well, ain't this something? So I call Pat. Can I speak to Pat Patterson? 1 moment, please. Hey, kid. Hey, goddamn it. Hey, kid.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like you're saying,
right.
The other 500 phone calls.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, so he goes, hey, kid, Vince loves the new look. And I'm saying, thank you, Pat. Thank you very much. Well, listen, I'm just going to come right to the point. Did you sign a contract with them sons of bitches? And this is all setting in on me, and I'm going, Pat, and now I feel comfortable because I'm not asking you for anything.
Right.
I go, Pat, I just got done driving from Atlanta back to Orlando. They don't even fly me. I drive from the contract signing. And he goes, I said, Pat, I don't want to work for them. I wouldn't have called your office every week for a year if I did. And he's going, calm down. You know, Pat, calm down, kid, calm down. Don't worry, you'll be able to tell them in a year New York wants you.
Right.
So a year goes by, no contact from New York. So now I call Curt and go, bro, I'm done here. They're not doing anything with me here. I said, you know what? If I'm destined to be a job guy in this business, I want to do it for Vince. The lowest paid guy in wrestling makes a pretty good living.
Right.
I remember saying to him, give me Barry Horowitz a spot, because Barry Horowitz had a baseball card.
Right.
Because I figure if I'm going to do jobs for a living, I'll do them, and I want to do it at the best place around.
But, dude, I don't really remember too much of your diamond stud run because I was doing my thing. But so how was it? I mean, you was working mid-card, working top.
Yeah, well, the thing that Dallas and I got together about was, you know what, the fans don't know how much I make.
Right.
I'm going to act like I'm the shit.
Right.
If you act like you're the shit, you become the shit.
Yeah.
You know, Vince, perception becomes the reality.
Yes.
If you act like you're the deal, and Dally had the thing with the diamond dolls, and we started doing this thing, strip the stud. Right, I had tearaway clothes on. Now he would bring these hotties, and have them come. They'd hang around at TV for nothing, for free.
Because Dallas used to be in the nightclub business.
Yeah,
so
and he would browbeat the broads. He'd go, no, what else you got to wear? He would make them try on outfits and stuff, and I'm so shy. I'm going like, thanks for coming, you know.
And Dallas is very meticulous to detail. I mean, he knows what he wants.
So then we started doing the thing with Dally where we would invite girls from the audience to come down. I'm working an angle with the Z-Man. So we'd go to the ring and talk our little smack, and Z-Man comes out. So we started doing a thing where we'd invite girls from the audience. These girls would come from the upper deck and come down. And then I would lean over and whisper in his ear like, no. And he'd go, you're right, stud. Honey, you looked a lot better when you were way up there. Go on back. Now the people are booing.
Yeah.
Boo. And we would do a spot with Z-Man where he would come off double crossbody us both off the top. And I mean, Dallas. At the same time, I butted heads with Dally a little bit because he was so active on the outside. And managers need to just don't do anything, then you do one thing. And one time I remember going, Dally, it's not the Diamond Dallas Page show, bro. I'm out there trying to work. I mean, he didn't know. He was trying to contribute.
Yeah. Trying too hard, he was taking the attention away from the match.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the name of that finish?
Diamond Death Drop.
Diamond Death Drop. How did you come up with that? Which would become the Razor's Edge.
Yeah. I think that the first time I did it to anybody was in Puerto Rico. Like the Powerbomb was getting really big at the time.
Right.
I remember Powerbomb was like, oh my God, when guys were first doing that. Like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just kind of morphed it out of that.
But you came up with it.
Yeah.
So did you ever have a hard time talking to someone and taking that bump? Because it looked like a scary bump, because I got a stack of dimes problem.
Yeah, And in the squash match era, like if guys would dead weight me, then
Right.
I'd let them have it.
Yeah.
You know, if guys would go up good, then I put you down flat. You're going to make me hoist you up there, then tuck your chin.
Really?
Well, it was a different era, too.
I don't think I ever took that, did I?
No. I gave you the stunner.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
This February on Pluto TV, we're putting the spotlight on iconic black talent. Watch your favorite movies like Top 5, 48 Hours, and More Than a Game. And drop in to binge black TV classics like The Bernie Mac Show and Moesha. Pluto TV has hundreds of channels and thousands more movies and TV shows, all for free. So download the Pluto TV app on your favorite streaming device and start watching today. Pluto TV, drop in, watch free.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more. And Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's simple. Go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Hi there, and welcome to The Inevitable. This is our new podcast where we're talking about the future of the car. This means everything from electrified vehicles to cars that drive themselves. Where are we going and how will we get there? I'm Johnny Lieberman from Motor Trend, joined by
Ed Lowe, and we are going to talk to some amazing guests. We have Reggie Watts, we have Sung Kang, we have James Marsden, we have Spike Ferriston, Kristen Lee, Derek Jenkins, a whole bunch of actors, celebrities, car crazy folks, people from in and outside the industry. It's going to be great, and you can find it on PodcastOne.com or anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. We're also doing a video series as well. That's on motortrend.com/The Inevitable or on youtube.com/motortrend. Come join us.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Big Brother Jake, a.k.a. Jake Warner, my government name. Check it out. I host a show called the Big Brother Jake Podcast, and I've taken my talents to the biggest and baddest platform on the planet. That's right, baby. Podcast One. My show is unique as I talk about everything. Life, sports, entertainment, being a single dad juggling several jobs. I'm a hot mess, but it's damn entertaining. Subscribe and review now on Apple Podcasts and listen on Podcast One or wherever you get your podcasts.